At this point, we have a list of products, and now we want the user to be able to buy a product. The thing we need is a way for the user to initiate the purchase. This can be a simple user interface element that the user taps. Here, the user must authorize the payment. If the user does authorize it, then the payment is sent to Apple where the actual transaction occurs. You'll be receiving transaction updates from the App Store. After processing them, as your app requests, you need to let Apple know that you've finished. If you don't take this step, Apple will keep resending you that transaction. To get started with making purchases, we need to add an asynchronous method that will actually buy an owl. The rest of the app will need access to it, so you can put it into an IAP Store extension marked for internal use. Products have a purchase method. The value it returns is a purchase result. We'll want to process the successful ones. Those results will be transaction verification results. Let's process them using a private method. Process transaction is going to need to trigger UI updates, so it needs to run on the main actor. If you'd like, you can apply the main actor attribute to an entire extension when it makes sense. And enforcing that will require a waiting at call site even though the method itself isn't marked as async. You can access the transaction itself via the verification results payload value property. In this app, we know that the transaction's product ID is going to match up with one of the owls, so let's find which one that is. And then unlock it in our app by setting its isPurchased value to true. Finally, we need to finish the transaction, but that can be done in a child task. If something unexpected happens to your app before you can finish these transactions, you'll need to deal with them later. We'll store a task for this, and it has to be an implicitly unwrapped optional because it will be referring to self and so can't be initialized until the rest of the class is. This is going to be a detached task. And you should cancel it when the IAP store gets deinitialized. Responding to transaction updates involves a for loop because transaction.updates is an async sequence of verification results. And that's it. Our app can now process transactions. The only thing left to be done is actually buy a product, and we'll do that in the next episode.